Nature's fury unleashed in a symphony of growth and sacrifice. This is Sacrificial Swarm, your first starter deck. And upgrade. Let's jump in. How's it going, folks? Welcome back to the Memory Academy. I'm Muse, and today we are grabbing your first deck, doing a deck tech, and showing you how I like to upgrade it, or how I like to upgrade it, how I like to play it now. Every starter deck is, it's a starter deck. It's kind of a way to introduce you to the game, get you kind of familiar with some things. It's always a decent way to start, but it can always be better. That is the way it is in every single TCG. So let's jump into the deck. So Sacrificial Swarm, your goal is kind of the way it sounds. You are building up a big board of little guys. So you're zooing out, if you will. That means to fill up your board, have a lot of little things, and then pump them in some way later. We're going to use death triggers to scale up some of our smaller bodies, and we have a decent curve with our top end ending at 4 with our Father Forest. So a lot of these are going to be small. We could play a lot of them, and we're also going to use some of the game's natural mechanics in order to sacrifice these cards to get death triggers. When your board is full and you try to play another glitch, that glitch is then sacrificed and counts as a death trigger to some of these scalers. So let's jump into the starter deck, and what cards are we starting with? We have 24 glitches and 11 software. Most of our curve is at 1, 2, and 3, and only one card at 4 to start with. So we got the Cracked Cricket. He is a 1-drop 1/2. Whenever you initialize a glitch, give this encrypted until end of turn. So initializing a glitch is anytime a glitch enters the battlefield. It's not just when you play it from your hand, but also when another card, glitch, or software does have a glitch enter the battlefield. The Cracked Cricket does gain encrypted, so he can only be blocked by other cards with encrypted when you attack, so you're getting that little stinger damage. The Survivalist, which is one of our scalers, 1-drop 1/2. For 1 energy, sacrifice another ally, give this +1/+1. You can also use this as a response to people blocking your other creatures, and they're going to die. You can just use this ability, sacrifice that creature that's going to die anyway, and then get that +1. If the Survivalist is unblocked, you do that extra power to your attack, whether that's to be get through a blocker, defeat that, or do that extra damage to their face. Minotaur, 2-drop 1/4. Whenever you initialize a glitch, give it +1 power until end of turn. This is not a constant scaler, so we do have some ways in order to get multiple creatures initialized and then sacrifice so we can scale up a few times. This is a kind of natural scaler as we start building our engine. Spirit Shepherd, this is a staple card in this deck. As soon as you get another one, you want to add it to max it out. He is a 2-drop 1/2. Whenever an ally dies, give this +1/+1. So again, we're sacrificing other creatures, usually our shroomies, or anything small or things that are getting chump blocked using those abilities. The Spirit Shepherd can get out of control very quickly. I've got mine up to 10 power and just annihilated. We have 2 Ent Incarnates, 2-drop 1/3. When this is initialized, give this +1 power for each ally with 2 or less power. As we are initializing these shroomies and these small glitches, small creatures, you can possibly get a +4 onto the Ent Incarnate, making him a 5/3, which is a great way to attack. The Big Bad, which is a card we are going to cut later, 2-drop 2/3, sacrifice 2 allies in order to play this. We do have enough engine in order to keep our board full, so we don't necessarily need to sacrifice cards using glitch abilities to do them. So this is a little bit of a clunky card and is a cut for me. 3 Seafoam Oracles, which is your draw card. 2/4, when this dies, draw a card. It's a little clunky being a 3-drop, but you do get a couple good blocks out of it for when your opponent is coming at you. We really need to last until turn 4 to get our engine really going. After turn 4, it's off to the races. We have 2 Witch Doctors to start with, a 3-drop 4/4, sacrifice an ally in order to play this. This is one of the cards I am dropping just because it's not scalable with what we're doing. It does sacrifice a creature to get that death trigger, but it's a little clunky in our full game plan later. Spirit Avenger, another staple. Another one, as soon as you get 3 copies of this, make sure they are all in your deck. 3-drop 0/4. The power of this is equal to the number of allies that have died, just in general. So it does count everything from your entire match. Think of it as an ongoing in Marvel Snap. Every time it happens, it just kind of knows what's going on in the back end. So you can drop this in the late game as a 7/4 and use it as your kill shot. Shroom Hatchery, 3-drop 1/2. When this dies, initialize 2 Shroomies. This is a blocker for you, and increase and add Shroomies to the board to help start zooing out. And you can also use this as a sacrifice for our survivalists earlier to get those extra bodies on board and maybe chump block with those. And our last absolute staple card in this deck is Father Forest. You want 3 copies of this eventually into your deck. We start with 2. When this attacks, initialize 1 attacking Shroomy. So it kind of ends up being a 4/2 kind of on the turn that you attack with it. The other nice part about this card is it does have Predictive Strike. During combat, this glitch deals damage before the opposing glitch. If the opposing glitch dies, this glitch does not receive any damage. This is your first strike damage. With 3 attack, you can get through a lot of creatures early and keep your Father Forest alive, so that you're just churning out those Shroomies to sacrifice to have those death triggers. And again, if you do have a full board, you are forced to sacrifice another creature in order to get that new Shroomy onto the board. So you want to make sure you are doing the lowest power or your non-scalers. And for the software you start with, you get Sacrificial Glare, 1-drop, give an ally +2 power and corrupt it. You want to do this if you are getting blocked and are going to lose that creature anyway. That's why we have that Sacrificial Glare. You don't want to do this maybe possibly as a kill shot on the end of game, but this is really kind of a defensive software. Reaper's Bounty, 1-drop, sacrifice an ally to draw 1 card. You're drawing cards, that's always good. Body Shield, sacrifice an ally in order to play this. Stop software cost with 3 or lower. This is a card that I am taking out for the upgrade because, again, you're doing stuff. You really want to focus, especially as a new player, on what your deck is doing, less about the interaction. You can add the interaction in later once you are very comfortable with what your deck is doing. Bumbling Boomerang, deal 2 damage to an ally and an enemy. This is another card that we are taking out for the upgrade. And then Regrowth, initialize 2 Shroomies. We're making them, just kind of getting things on the board. So with that being said, what cards are we taking out and what cards are we putting back in? From the starter deck, we are taking out the 2 Cracked Crickets. They don't really do enough in the scaling department. Yes, they're kind of easy, cheap damage at the beginning of the game, but they're not doing too much for us later. We're going to take out the 2 Big Bads, as we don't necessarily need that effect, and we do have better scalers later. Taking out 1 Seafoam Oracle. It's just a little clunky with what we're doing, and we don't need to draw too many cards, as we do have max copies of the cards we are looking for and have some other cards to help get us there for cheaper. Taking out the 2 Witch Doctors for the same reason as the Big Bad. We don't necessarily need to sacrifice things, and we have better scalers. And then we are taking out the 2 Body Shields and the 2 Bumbling Boomerangs. They just don't really fit in with what we're trying to do with the upgrade. So the cards we are putting in are going to start with 2 cards that I think every single deck should have, especially as you are starting the game and kind of figuring out as they are great utility. That's going to be the Hopeful Cleric. It is a 1-drop, 1/2. When this is initialized, look at the top card of your deck and put it either on top or the bottom of your deck. It's not card draw, but it's card information. If you haven't really curved out and you have another card that's, doesn't fit your mana curve, if you already have it in your hand, you can put it on the bottom and just start going through your deck a little bit quicker. Again, it's not card draw, but it's information which is very valuable as you're trying to get through your deck to get this big engine going. The other card that every single starter deck should have is the Hype Man. He is a 2-drop, 2/1. Whenever this attacks, give it +1 health for each attacking ally. So as you're kind of zooing out, he can gain, because he does count himself, 5 health for every attack, which does scale up very quickly. In 2 turns, he has 10 health if he goes unchecked. This is a great way to block your opponent's creatures that are scaling up and still have that blocker ready for the next turn. The 2 power, nothing to scoff at. It can start taking down your opponent's health as well as your opponent's creature health and start putting them on a timer, since he is attacking and defending every single turn. As we said earlier, we're adding 1 more Spirit Shepherd, as this is a staple for this deck, and we want to make sure that we can draw 1 or 2 of these every single match. Great scaler for what we're doing. We're adding 1 more Father Forest, maxing that out as well, getting those shroomies every turn, and once we are zooed out on the board, have every location full, we can start sacrificing those, getting those death triggers for our high-powered scalers. And then the third card, which I really like, which we're adding 3 copies of, which did not start in the deck, is the Surprise Scope, again with the alliteration. 1 drop, give a glitch, predictive strike until end of turn. This is a great way to, if your opponent's trying to either A, chump block or use one of their bigger creatures to block yours, to get through it and still have your creature ready for the next turn. Now that we've got the deck tech out of the way, follow along with the link in the description. We do have the deck code that you can copy into your game. And if you do enjoy these deck techs, make sure you throw down a like and let me know how you are enjoying the Lost Glitches. So, let's jump into the gameplay. Okay, so when we are starting the game, this is mostly for new players, we do get to mulligan down. I would like to have some kind of 1 drop here that's not a software. I do want to keep the Spirit Shepherd, that way we can see that later, but I am going to replace the other 3 to hopefully get to a 1 drop, which unfortunately I did not do. So I'm probably going to play the Hype Man next turn and start scaling up the health, so we do have that that health bonus. So they've got the Protector. It can't attack, which is nice, and can only be blocked by glitches with Encrypted. So that is fine for us, and we are going to drop in our Hype Man. It can... I actually don't think I want to block yet. So I'm going to skip blocking and then get the possibly Minotaur down. Hopefully we do get a 1 drop. That way I can get the Minotaur plus a 1 drop down. We can really start scaling. And we did get that. So turn order, or card order, is very important. So because when you initialize a glitch, it gets +1 power, we want to get the Minotaur first. That way when we get the Hopeful Cleric down, we do get to look at the top card. This does get its buff. Predictive Strike, I don't have that. I do actually want to keep that on top. And now we have pretty much our entire engine, because we can play the Father Forest on turn 4. So we are going to start scaling. So we get that plus... was it 3? Yeah, we get our +3. Sorry, that was a second. For our Hype Man, we get our damage through. And now what we're just going to do is keep on keeping on. So for our abilities down here, I do like to keep Sticks and Stones, or a version of that, so that we can do just kind of chip damage every once in a while, kind of get them down earlier. Deal 1 damage to a glitch, so if they do have a more powerful one, we can do 5 damage to a glitch straight up. And then steal 2 energy from our opponent. This is going to be more of the late game, so that we can get a super engine rolling and just add a whole bunch of glitches to the battlefield and sacrifice a bunch all at the same time. And we are ready for combat. So with this, I think I might actually... I don't want to take 6 damage, but I think I'm just going to block that and just take 3 damage. So half of that's not terrible. We do lose our Cleric, but that is okay. This does give us some power here for the Spirit Avenger. And now that we have Father Forest, we can get him down. We got the buff. We're ready for combat, and we are going to attack with everybody. So the Father Forest can get through everybody. And then because the Shroomy initialized, our Minotaur does also get another +1, making it even stronger. We are going to get through their Propeller Pals, because we do have the Predictive Strike. plus all the other damage we're going to do. Corrupting a glitch. Probably our Father Forest is what I would assume. Oh, our Hype Man. Okay, so they don't like us having a blocker, which I guess is okay. We are going to get one of these. Probably just chump block one. And then get the other one down. So we will go here and then chump block, and we are good to go. We don't mind losing the Shroomy, and our Father Forest does stay. Now, because we've lost a few, we can get our Spirit Avenger down. It is a 3/4 now, and we can actually play both our Spirit Avenger as well as our Spirit Shepherd, which is going to want us to lose bodies anyway. We are ready for combat, and we can just swing in for everything. They do not have anything to block us because we've just been applying the pressure the entire time. And GG. And that's really the way it goes. That's what kind of the best case scenario for this deck. Kind of put them off for a little bit, get the engine going, and then just have big attackers and blockers. Alright, so for this mulligan, I actually like this a lot more because we do have a survivalist down. We can start getting early damage. The Shroom Hatchery I don't necessarily want. And I might get rid of the Minotaur and the Surprise Scope just to get to maybe a different scaler, which is not terrible, actually. So, oh, perfect. We did get our Spirit Shepherd. Turn 1, I think I am just going to play the Survivalist. So if I go on turn 2, and I do have, if I'm playing on turn 2 and I've got the Forgotten Memory, I like to play that on 3 to get into our Father Forest on 3 to get that out of turn early, which is awesome. Chip damage there. We'll get our Heart Man down next. I've got Predictive Strike on the Mechsmith. It also has +1 power for each ally with Protector. Alright, so I'm ready for combat. I'm just going to take the one. You want to also think about your life as a resource. You don't need to keep it at 20 all the time. You want to kind of balance your health with... Ooh, and I did get that, so I am going to play the Father Forest now. And we do have some great scalers, and the engine is running. Oh wait, I'm a jabroni. Why did I think I was on turn 3? Oh, that was a hard whoops. Wow, I'm an idiot. We'll go here. So I misread that entire thing. So we are... I might just attack with you. And get rid of that. We do have the 2. The Predictive Strike does not matter. That is my bad. But now, on turn 4, I might actually do the Ent Incarnate plus the Hype Man. Or I might do the... I'm actually going to do the Hopeful Cleric plus the Ent that way. Or maybe I'll do the Shepherd. I actually don't know. I'm going to put that at the bottom. I'm going to do the Shepherd. That way we can start getting some death triggers here. That is what I want to do. And just attack with everything. If it blocks one, no big deal. We are going to start getting our chip damage in. And since I'm in a good spot, I am also just going to do the 2 damage to my opponent. Activate that, the Sticks and Stones, just to get a little bit more damage through. You want to do just kind of that chip damage. It does add up throughout, especially with this deck. Deal 1 damage to an enemy. If this doesn't destroy it, heals you 2. That's fine. So we just kind of did it back and forth, made them use energy in order to gain some health. I don't know if that was the best play there. So now we can Father Forest. So what we're going to do here is start attacking. and you're going to see some fun stuff. So we are going to attack with everything. And we're going to sacrifice our cleric here. That way we do get the trigger here, and nothing's going to happen. Yeah, they don't have anything to get through our Father Forest and start just kind of putting down damage. Alright, so now that they're trying to destroy things, we are, just kind of strong now. So what I'm actually going to do here is, I don't mind taking 2 damage. We're going to skip the blocking. We'll jump block. We're going to get the power back over here anyway. Oh, it gets +1/+1. So that's not bad, actually. So what I want to do here is play the Ent Incarnate's not too crazy. So I'm actually going to play the Hype Man. And then I do have our scopes here, so if they do try to block anything, we do have Predictive Strike to not take damage. We're ready for combat, and we are going to add these guys, as well as our Hype Man, which is going to gain +4, so it will be a 2/5. So they are going to take out our Father Forest, which is fine. He's doing his job. We don't have anything to increase his power with, unless I can. Can I initialize that? I cannot. So we will just get going. We do have our extra power here. And we should hopefully win next turn. I can block and get the surprise scope onto our Spirit Shepherd. So we can do that in order to block that guy down, get him out, and keep our Spirit Shepherd safe. Yep, just as I thought. And we are going to just do this first because I am known to mess things up. And block their Firewall tank. And when he heals, he gets +1 power, but we have Predictive Strike, so we are going to be fine, and he will not heal. And next, we'll just drop down an Ent Incarnate, have a full lane, and attack, and that should be GG. So overall, that is the upgrade guide to the deck. I've got a 71% win rate on this deck through cooking, which is, pretty great. Overall, I think your deck should be about 50-50. 55 makes it, a winning deck rate. That helps you get through the ladder. There are a lot of bots right now. I did play real people, luckily, during the pilots, and it's a fun, powerful deck. The swarm mechanic is super fun and super beginner friendly. So if you enjoy these deck techs, make sure you snap those like and subscribe buttons so you know every time we do drop a new deck tech, beginner guide video, or anything else that you might be interested in. Shout out to Jason, our celestial being, helping keep the lights on. And if you want to be a celestial being or part of our any other membership program, that's a thing. So if you want to join the YouTube membership program, go ahead and look at that below. We have some cool perks like early access to videos, deck techs and highlights just for you folks, as well as other things. And you can talk to me more directly and get ahead of queue for viewer battles. So until next time, go make some memories.